Shibaki Koda is a perverted high school student deeply interested in girls. Due to his lewd actions, he's known as Perverted Shibaki, and every girl avoids him like the plague. As a member of the Paranormal Investigation Club, Shibaki one day finds a book in the library about how to summon witches. He wishes for a girl's underwear as a joke, but it turns out to be a real thing. Much to his surprise, a witch named Rurumo shows up and reveals she's the one who fulfilled his wish. However, Shibaki is stunned when he finds out that having his wish granted meant creating a contract with Rurumo, and she, in return, would take his life. He takes her to the park as he mourns his impending death and makes several attempts to carry out his lustful desires, but he is unsuccessful. There, Rurumo reveals that she has already spent 60 years in prison for breaking a rule of the underworld. What's worse is that it is prohibited for a witch to give her personal items to a common man, and unfortunately, the underwear she gave to Shibaki belongs to her. Any witch who breaks the rules is punished by the warden, the Black Baron, and he will be coming to arrest her soon. Just then, the warden appears, but Shibaki returns Rurumo's underwear and everything works out smoothly. A few days later, he faces another embarrassing incident with the school's disciplinary committee and wishes he could see Rurumo again. His wish is granted immediately as Rurumo falls from the sky and crashes in front of him. He finds out that, as punishment for not taking his stole, she's been busted down to an apprentice witch. Now she must complete the task of getting Shibaki to use up the 666 magic tickets that grant wishes before she can become a witch again. Shibaki is excited and wishes to become invisible for a while. His wish is granted and he follows Sawashita Maya, the girl with the biggest bust in his school. It is revealed that Shibaki's senior, the stern and straightforward president of the Paranormal Investigation Club, has ordered him to return Maya's bra, which she accidentally left in the gym class. Shibaki uses the power of invisibility and finally manages to catch up with her in the girls' locker room. However, when he finds out that Maya's bra was a special gift from her sister, he gives up on his lewd desires and leaves it on the table. During the evening, Cairo, Rurumo's familiar cat, reveals that making a human use up the magic tickets has been considered a form of training for Rurumo. However, she does not know that the owner of the tickets will die once they are all used up. Shibaki is terrified after learning this information. The following day, Shibaki returns to school and joins his fellow members of the Paranormal Activity Club. As he gazes out the window, he spots a group of girls heading somewhere, reigniting his longing for female company. In a desperate moment, he contemplates using the magic tickets to introduce some female members to the club. However, his plans are thwarted when Hiro Tokuda, another club member, intervenes. Shibaki realizes the gravity of his situation and the dire consequences that await if he succumbs to his temptations. He makes a solemn vow to himself never to use the magic tickets again, understanding that his very life is at stake. Later on, the Paranormal Activity Club embarks on an excursion to the forest in search of a mysterious magician rumored to be lurking there. Shibaki, skeptical of these fantastical claims, requests permission to depart from the group, yet his request is denied by the club president. Suddenly, their attention is drawn to the unexpected appearance of Rurumo, leaving Shibaki bewildered as he believes she had returned to the underworld. To Shibaki's astonishment, Rurumo has established a makeshift camp in the heart of the forest, where she's been residing alongside Cairo. What's even more perplexing is that some of his lecherous club members mistake Rurumo for a genuine magician and are determined to capture her on film. Shibaki initially attempts to divert their attention, but his efforts prove futile. A critical moment arises when Rurumo is on the verge of changing her outfit, prompting Shibaki to resort to the magic tickets as a last-ditch effort to avert a disaster. He summons a UFO, successfully distracting his club members. In a bid to keep Rurumo hidden and safe from prying eyes, Shibaki decides to secretly shelter her in his own home, cleverly concealing her presence from his unsuspecting mother. Rurumo confides in Shibaki, explaining that she is unable to return to the underworld until she completes her training. As the days pass, Shibaki's mother begins to grow suspicious of her son's activities, sensing that he might be harboring a secret in his room. Meanwhile, Shibaki grapples with increasing anxiety about the situation at hand. Seeking guidance, he turns to Cairo, who advises him to consider using the magic tickets to resolve the mounting predicament. In a moment of urgency, Shibaki makes a startling discovery. The number of magic tickets in his possession has dwindled significantly, despite having used them only twice. Perplexed by this, he questions Cairo, who reveals a crucial detail. While each ticket wields considerable power, more complex and substantial magic spells necessitate the consumption of multiple tickets. Skepticism fills Shibaki's mind, leading him to firmly resolve never to use these enigmatic tickets again. The ensuing days become a whirlwind of chaos for Shibaki as he grapples with the daunting task of concealing Rurumo from his vigilant mother. However, his efforts are ultimately in vain when, one fateful day, his mother unexpectedly bursts into his room, catching sight of both him and the slumbering Rurumo. Faced with no alternative, Shibaki resorts to using the magic tickets, and Rurumo employs a memory-altering spell to manipulate everyone's recollections. As a result, a new reality is established. Rurumo is now perceived as Shibaki's younger sister, effectively assimilating into the household. She even acquires her own room within Shibaki's home, marking a significant and unexpected turn in their shared journey. Thanks to a memory alteration spell, which Rurumo is now living with the Shibaki family as their little sister. Shibaki is frustrated by his inability to act on his desires towards her. One day, he tries to sneak a peek at her in the girl's locker room with a friend from the Paranormal Activity Club, but he is stunned to see her changing clothes. He quickly diverts his friend's attention, but not before catching a glimpse of her bare skin. He is filled with both desire and guilt. Later, Shibaki thinks he might be hallucinating when he sees Rurumo working in the school cafeteria. She is there to punish herself for having too much free time, but she is unable to perform any tasks and keeps making mistakes. She drops plates, spills food, and even burns herself on the stove. The other students are starting to notice, and Shibaki is worried that they will figure out her secret. That night, Shibaki contemplates whether he should help Rurumo regain her powers or resist the temptation and save his own life. He knows that helping her would be dangerous, but he also can't bear to see her suffer. After much consideration, Shibaki concluded that he did not want to die and put the magic tickets in his drawer. However, he felt guilty about leaving Rurumo to fend for herself, so he decided to help her with her training in the cafeteria. The next morning, Rurumo has a brief interaction with the president of the Paranormal Activity Club. He is impressed by her knowledge of witchcraft and considers adding her to the club, but then realizes that she's a cafeteria trainee. Later, Rurumo continues to make clumsy mistakes in the cafeteria, becoming the center of attention. She refuses Shibaki's assistance, insisting that it is her responsibility to improve herself. Shortly afterwards, Kyujirai Tanako, a first-year female student, joins the Paranormal Activity Club. She has a keen interest in magic and solving mysteries, which was why she quit the basketball club to join this one. She dresses up as a wizard and tries to showcase her fake magic abilities, but nothing happens. Just then, Rurumo shows up and Tanako immediately declares them rivals. She decides to have a magic showdown with her tomorrow. The following day, Rurumo and Tanako have their magic showdown. Rurumo wins every match, but Tanako, out of desperation, tries to attempt levitation. She falls, but Shibaki uses his magic tickets to save her. It is revealed that Tanako was trying to impress the senior club member and join the Paranormal Activity Club because she had a huge crush on him. Shibaki's hopes are crushed as he thought she was interested in him. Later on, Shibaki tries to boost Rurumo's confidence. He tells her that she is a powerful witch and that she can do anything she sets her mind to. Rurumo is confused as no one in her life has ever been nice to her. She had always been feared and ostracized because of her powers. Shibaki's words touch Rurumo's heart. She begins to believe in herself and her abilities. She realizes that she can achieve anything she sets her mind to, with or without her magic powers. Monitors from the Wesh High Student Disciplinary Committee begin the hunt for misbehaving students. Sumiko, now their leader, notices Shibaki's lewd behavior and declares him an offender. She orders her secretary, Kyoko, to punch him in the face, and Shibaki goes flying away. It is revealed that Inao has known Shibaki since elementary school, but she cannot stand the sight of the Shibaki pervert king. As a result, she has ordered a school-wide purge of the adult magazine that he had been lending to his classmates. Later on, Shibaki informs his fellow club members and states they must find a way to secure his Playboy collection. The following day, Kairo unexpectedly transforms into a tan-skinned teenage girl, leaving Shibaki completely stunned. He tries to hide her from the Public Moral Committee monitors, but Kairo notices a flashy dress and runs away. Consequently, he goes after her and ends up facing Inao in the process. Inu becomes pissed at him, but Kairo grabs him and flees from the scene. Inu and her gang try to chase them, but Kairo reverts to her original form and Shibaki is saved. Afterwards, it is revealed that she can only retain her human transformation for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, in the evening, Shibaki decides to hide all of his Playboy collection in a safe location. He goes to Rurumo's room and gives her a pair of glasses lying near him. Much to his surprise, they turn out to be the glasses of Misfortune, and wearing them brings on an endless cycle of calamities. Rurumo begins feeling unwell, but Shibaki removes her glasses in the nick of time and saves her. Just then, Inu shows up at his door and gives him a souvenir from their previous collective family trip. She notices the glasses of Misfortune and inadvertently wears them. Shibaki tells her to remove them, but she becomes pissed and runs away. She starts experiencing misfortunes but is unaware of the truth while Shibaki continues chasing her. He finally manages to remove the glasses from her face and praises her personality. Shibaki returns to the fire hydrant where he hid his Playboy collection the next day, only to discover that everything has been confiscated by Inu. She's about to burn everything, but Shibaki uses his magic tickets to distract the attention of the public moral committee monitors. After that, he orders Rurumo to send the collection anywhere she wants, and he feels relieved. When he eventually returns home, an unexpected incident occurs. Rurumo unintentionally delivered the Playboy collection to Shibaki's house, and his mother has now burned everything. During the summer break, Rurumo tries to clean the house but again ends up wandering the neighborhood in a weird manner. Consequently, a female officer confronts her and asks her why she dressed up like a witch. Rurumo recalls Shibaki's words and states that she's wearing a cosplay costume. The officer dismisses her and gives her a map to find the train station. Shortly afterwards, Rurumo runs into a member of the public moral committee, buying some cosplay costumes, but she chooses to ignore her. Later on, she finally manages to board the train thanks to Shibaki's friend Sudayama from the Paranormal Activity Club. However, when she gets off the train, she ends up in the middle of a huge farm and loses contact with Cairo. Luckily, Cairo remembers the details of the map and successfully manages to find Shibaki. She then informs him that Rurumo has his package, but she's currently lost. On the other hand, a plant catches Rurumo's clothes due to her healing magic. Fortunately, Shibaki and Cairo find her in time and nothing bad happens. Later in the evening, it is revealed that Shibaki's package contains a lewd foam case that he wants to give to the girls on the farm. Afterwards, in the night, Shibaki thanks Rurumo for helping him and pats her head. However, she starts blushing when Cairo notices her response. He then walks away to enjoy the fireworks, leaving her completely flustered. After the summer break, Shibaki finds some gravure adult magazines on the side of the road. He decides to add them to his Playboy collection, but some underclassmen witness him picking them up. In order to take control of the situation, he ends up taking 3 abandoned kittens to his home. Later on, he names them Mur Dior an incident. However, another problem arises for Shibaki because his animal-hating mother discovers the kittens and furiously orders him to throw them away. Shortly afterwards, he takes them to a park along with Rurumo and Cairo. There, Rurumo suggests that he temporarily keep the kittens at school until he finds a new home for them. The following day, he hides them in the school and asks his classmates to adopt them as pets. However, much to his disappointment, everyone refuses, and he decides to ask Tanako. Luckily, she becomes infatuated with their cuteness and states she'll ask her classmates about their adoption. Half of the day ends, and unfortunately, no one agrees to take them in. Afterwards, while Shibaki is taking care of the kittens, Rurumo joins him. He reveals that he was never allowed to have pets, which is why he has always longed for this kind of attachment. Rurumo becomes flustered and leaves. Cairo also shows up, and Shibaki requests that she look after the kittens while he's busy with the class. Later on, when he returns, Cairo explains her story of how she became Rurumo's familiar. She discloses that cats selected to become witches' familiars usually come from outstanding pedigrees. Unfortunately, in her case, she was just a stray cat who sold magic wands for a living. One day, Rurumo bought a wand and offered her a chance to become familiar. Later on, the rain stops and a few girls arrive to play with the kittens. Shibaki realizes that girls will be all over him if he roams around with kittens at the school. He then takes advantage of this opportunity and climbs up to a higher stage of perversion. During the night, it starts raining like cats and dogs, so Shibaki rushes to the school to retrieve the kittens. However, when he arrives, he learns that they have developed a fever. He brings them to his home and tries to treat them. The next day, Incident dies and Shibaki becomes devastated. He tries to use the magic tickets to restore his life, but nothing happens. Just then, Rurumo arrives and reveals that the magic tickets don't have the capacity to bring back the dead. It's a rule and the dead can't be retrieved. Later on, it is revealed that Mur and Dior found new homes with girls who love cats. On the other hand, the death of Incident took an emotional and heavy toll on Shibaki's mental health. Shibaki and his friends visit the beach at the suggestion of Senior. Much to everyone's surprise, the boys encounter Tanako, the busty student Maya, and the moral committee monitors. The paranormal activity members, except for Senior, are extremely overwhelmed to see all the girls in swimsuits. Shibaki starts imagining the beautiful ladies running around in bikinis, but something unusual happens. Rurumo shows up in her usual witch outfit despite sweating in the hot sun. All the girls rush to dive and enjoy the beautiful ocean while Rurumo sits in the shade, all depressed. On the other hand, Senior drags Shibaki to search through the forest for what he claims to be the legendary swimsuit. Luckily, Shibaki manages to fool him and joins up with his squad to carry out his lewd activities. Shortly afterwards, Shibaki goes to Rurumo and asks her the reason for not wearing a swimsuit. She replies that she cannot wear something that is so revealing, so he doesn't bother her much and leaves. Before his departure, he strictly orders Cairo not to transform into a human. Meanwhile, Senior reveals that the legendary swimsuit is rumored to be in a shrine somewhere on this island and carries on his search. The scene then shifts to Shibaki and his group, who notice Tanako and Maya playing with each other in the ocean. Shibaki becomes tempted by his desires and tries to do something lustful, but the moral committee monitors intervene. Still, the paranormal activity members use the art of praising and manage to distract them for a while, but another busty woman shows up. She introduces herself as Rurumo, a police officer from the Nishimatsu Police Department. She orders them to give up on their perverted schemes, but Shibaki becomes more excited than ever. He tries to run away, but Rurumo throws a brick at him and his runaway escape fails. On the other hand, Kairo transforms into a human and wears a seashell bikini, which makes her the target of all the members of the Paranormal Activity Club. Shibaki is forced to sit with Rurumo while the girls, including Ruri, enjoy playing volleyball. He indulges in a conversation with Rurumo and learns that the true reason she's not wearing a swimsuit is that she didn't bring one. Feeling guilty, he sets out to find a swimsuit for her, but after a lot of effort, he fails. He then rescues Kairo from all the boys and orders her to find a perfect swimsuit for Rurumo. Just then, Senior shows up and drags Shibaki along in his search to find the legendary swimsuit. During their search, Senior explains that according to the legends, the legendary swimsuit makes a timid and shy girl more assertive. After a bit of exploration, they manage to find the shrine, but the swimsuit isn't there to be found. On their way back, Shibaki encounters Rurumo wearing a swimsuit. To his surprise, she becomes assertive and forcefully tries to kiss him. He somehow manages to escape and meets Kairo, who reveals that Rurumo is wearing the legendary swimsuit. A cat and mouse game ensues between them, but Shibaki eventually uses magic tickets to restore normalcy. On the way back to the city, Rurumo admits that she does not remember wearing a swimsuit, but she does remember having a good time at the beach. Shibaki is walking towards the school and suddenly, the first class, which named Warora Haruriri, and her familiar Mimi fall from the sky. She'd offer Shibaki a contract to grant his wishes, but this one, unlike Rurumo's, won't result in his death. She offers him a few free tickets, but he runs away. However, she easily manages to catch up to him and empathizes with his decision to use her premium tickets. Shibaki finally falls prey to his temptations and decides to have a single wish granted. Consequently, he takes one of her tickets and goes away somewhere, but suddenly Kairo shows up. She confronts her, and it is revealed that Haruriri is a bully. It is revealed that once Shibaki forms a contract with Haruriri, his previous one with Rurumo will be eliminated. The scene then shifts to Shibaki, who visits the school and tries to use the tickets, but their magical powers disappear. Rurumo and Kairo, on the other hand, run into Haruriri and Mimi. Surprisingly, it turns out that Haruriri and Rurumo were childhood friends. Haruriri always used to get bullied, but Rurumo was the one who saved her and became her first friend. Back in the present, she confronts Rurumo about her inexpressive nature and says she's disappointed because she didn't come to her when she was punished. Haruriri asks Rurumo if she really intends on finishing her training, and Rurumo tells her to come with her. Later on, it is revealed that Haruriri only came to Earth to check up on Rurumo. Afterwards, they go out and spend the day doing different jobs. Unfortunately, Rurumo's clumsiness gets them fired everywhere, and they reminisce about the past. Rurumo claims that ever since she met Shibaki, she has been in high spirits and will visit him when the contract ends. Haruriri is devastated to learn this because she knows he will die once his contract expires. The next day, she decides to leave, and before she does so, she tells Rurumo that she can always count on her if anything bad happens. One day, Shimamura Masako, the most serious and hardworking student of the Public Moral Committee, is walking home and drops a pair of cat ears. Masako is an otaku who is obsessed with anime and creates her own cosplay. However, she's rather shy and doesn't want her friends to know this secret side of her. Much to her surprise, Rurumo witnesses her cosplay accessory and returns it to her. Luckily, Masako already feels a sense of affinity for Rurumo due to her mistaken belief that her witchy's outfit is a form of cosplay. She becomes overwhelmed with happiness when Rurumo doesn't mock her hobby and invites her to her house. Later on, Rurumo is stunned when she sees Masako in a cosplay costume and calls it magical. Masako expresses gratitude and gives her a collection of anime DVD to read. Shortly afterwards, Rurumo returns home and Shibaki is surprised to see the huge collection of anime DVD. She tells him that Masako gave it to her as a gift and inadvertently reveals she's a big-time cosplayer. For the next few days, Rurumo and Masako continued to hang out at her house, solidifying their friendship. However, one day, Rurumo returns home and tells Shibaki that Masako invited her to a cosplay event. The following day, when Masako enters her classroom, she is surrounded by everyone who starts expressing their opinions about her cosplay side. She immediately becomes embarrassed and runs away. Shortly afterwards, she stumbles upon Rurumo and says she's disappointed in her. However, Rurumo tells her that she loves the anime she suggested and praises her taste. Masako's confidence is boosted and she gives her cat ears to Rurumo as a token of gratitude. The following day, Rurumo and Masako ditch the cosplay event and decide to do it at Masako's house. Later at night, Rurumo returns home and has a weird interaction with Shibaki that leaves her flustered. She runs away to her room, but her bra strap breaks and she decides to get a new one. The next day, she asks Masako to arrange a bra for her and she takes her to the girls' locker room. There, all the girls show each other the size of their bras, but Rurumo falls into an inferiority complex after seeing Maya's big bust. Later, they meet up with Ruri and visit the shopping mall. Shibaki secretly follows them, but Ruri exposes him and orders him to leave. Before his departure, Shibaki reveals that he doesn't care about the size of bras because they're a magical item. Rurumo is relieved to hear that, and the next day she wears a new bra. She tries to show it to Shibaki, but he ignores her because she's fully dressed. The president of the Paranormal Activity Club states that the legend of the Japanese wolf lies deep within the mountains of Akamimura. Consequently, members of the Paranormal Activity Club, along with Shibaki, Rurumo, Nishino, Sugawara, Sakurai, Maya, and the student monitor trio, take a train to Akamimura. Shio transforms into a human and tags along as Rurumo's younger sister. Senior and two other members of the Paranormal Activity Club visit the deep mountains to discover a magical potion that can transform a human into a wolf. On the other hand, the boys and girls decide to use the hot springs for relaxation. Shibaki is quite excited because the hot springs are of the mixed bath type. He gathers his club members and secretly joins the ladies on the other side of the hot springs. Much to his disappointment, it turns out that the girls already knew his perverted plan, which is why they came prepared by wearing undergarments. Meanwhile, Senior and his group members finally manage to find the sacred tale of the Japanese wolf. They proceed further and stumble upon the legendary Mizu fountain. Senior reveals that those who drink this water supposedly turn into wolves. He decides to unravel this mystery and takes a sample with him. The scene then shifts to Shibaki, who is thrown out of the girls' area along with his friends. Senior returns and orders Shibaki to drink the wolf's shrine water. Unaware of the truth, Shibaki immediately drinks in a single gulp and Senior decides to film the progress. After the hot springs, the girls have a session of table tennis wearing loose yukatas. Shibaki takes advantage of this opportunity to fulfill his lewd desires. Later on, the boys and girls decide to visit another hot spring, but something unexpected happens. Shibaki starts turning into a wolf, so he runs away to the bathroom. He realizes that it's all due to the water he drank, and on his way out, he accidentally bumps into Maya. Luckily, he manages to run away, but no one is able to recognize him. The news of a wolf roaming around the inn spreads like wildfire, and everyone starts hunting it down. On the other hand, Shibaki fully transforms into a wolf and is depressed. He must now flee for his life before the innkeepers kill him. He opens the magic tickets and tries to use them, but his paw makes it hard for him to tear them apart. What's worse is that he cannot speak, so he wonders how he'll be able to survive. He begs God to revert him into a human and promises that he'll end all of his lewd desires. Suddenly, the inn's owners arrive on the scene and he runs away. Later, he meets Rurumo, who calms him down and helps him use the magic tickets to revert back into a human. On their way back, the story about the wolf is covered by saying that it was a dog. In order to attract more members to the Paranormal Activity Club, Tanaka suggests trying to join a famous televised band contest. However, for that, they need a guitarist, a bass player, a drummer, and a vocalist. The club members decide to recruit females into their newly formed band and end up with 0 people. On the other hand, Tanaka succeeds and enlists Maya as the guitarist, Inu as the bassist, Kyoko as the drummer, and Rurumo as the vocalist. Another surprising fact is that Tanaka herself will play the keyboard and Masako will be their costume designer. Masako suggests they use costumes that are similar to Rurumo's which outfit because they match the Paranormal Activity Club theme. The girl band is finally complete, and everyone tells Rurumo to give a demo of her beautiful voice. Everyone is surprised, but Rurumo becomes a bit embarrassed and leaves. The following days, the girl band practices for the auditions and Senior is able to write some good lyrics for their song. Finally, the day of the audition arrives and the Paranormal Activity Investigation band nails it. They're selected for the finals and later on they celebrate their win. However, Tanaka asks Rurumo if he's okay with the position of lead vocalist and she replies positively. A few days later, the day of the final performance arrives, but something inconvenient happens. Rurumo, the lead vocalist, bails out at the last minute due to her fear of singing in front of a huge audience. Consequently, Shibaki takes her position and the band ends up giving a horrible performance. Due to his lack of emotional insight, the Paranormal Activity Club band ends up with a bad score. Later on, Rurumo sings to Shibaki all alone as a token of gratitude for covering up for her. As the festival approaches, Shibaki excitedly informs Rurumo about the upcoming celebrations. Her eyes gleam with delight as she spots a beautiful yukata displayed in a shop's vitrine. She can't help but express her admiration for it. unaware that Shibaki is secretly planning to surprise her with it. Determined to make Rurumo's wish come true, he works tirelessly to save enough money to purchase the yukata. He takes on odd jobs, skips meals, and even gives up his weekly manga purchases. Every sacrifice is worth it if it means seeing Rurumo's face light up with joy. Finally, after weeks of hard work, Shibaki saves enough money to buy the coveted yukata. He carefully wraps it, imagining the look of surprise on Rurumo's face when she sees it for the first time. It is the perfect gift for the festival. On the day of the festival, he eagerly searches through the bustling crowd, hoping to catch a glimpse of Rurumo in her new yukata. But to his surprise, he fails to find her anywhere. Confusion and worry fill his mind as he wonders why she isn't present. As he makes his way through the festival grounds, he notices something strange. People are reminiscing about the past year, laughing and sharing stories, but no one mentions Rurumo. It is as if she has vanished from their memories and been erased from their lives. Shibaki's heart sinks as the realization dawns on him. Rurumo mentioned the annual visit from a representative who checks on contracted witches. Her temporary erasure from everyone's memory was to avoid confusion during this visit. She had sacrificed her own presence at the festival to maintain the surprise he had planned for her. Just as despair threatens to consume him, Shibaki feels a tap on his shoulder. He turns around to find Rurumo standing before him wearing the yukata he had bought. A mix of relief and happiness wash over him as he realizes that she hadn't forgotten him either. Rurumo, with a mischievous smile, pretends to be surprised by his presence. She plays along with his plan, maintaining the illusion of the surprise he had worked so hard to create. In that moment, surrounded by the vibrant colors and joyful atmosphere of the festival, Shibaki and Rurumo shared a deep bond, their connection stronger than ever. The festival became a cherished memory for both Shibaki and Rurumo. They laughed, danced, and celebrated, savoring every moment together. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of gold and pink, they knew that their friendship would endure, no matter the challenges they faced. In the end, Shibaki's surprise might not have unfolded exactly as he had imagined, but the love and connection he shared with Rurumo were more precious than any yukata or festival celebration could ever be. What would happen at the end of Rurumo's training? Would Shibaki die or survive? Find out in the next episode, and please subscribe to our channel.